There's a lot of failures when the hunting season rolls around. October, November, December. You choose the wrong stand, wind's blowing in the wrong spot, spook deer. But you know, a lot of that can be taken care of before the season even begins. Your access routes and just really planning the entire hunt during the summertime so that when you get into the fall, you're kind of in cruise control. And that's what we do. You make good decisions on what stand you should use based on the wind. You're better off using the wrong stand with the right wind than you are using the right stand with the wrong wind. I hope that makes sense. You don't want to put yourself in a position to spook deer ever. But a lot of those decisions though, and that strategy and plan for the hunt take place right now and your preparation for the season. I know we're all excited to get out there. I am too. Let's go through this list. It's so critical right now. It's August time. And I'm gonna start, doesn't matter if it's public or private land, know exactly how you're getting to your stand as quietly as possible, leaving the least amount of scent behind as possible. I think people overlooked the scent and how much scent they leave on the ground because they think they can cover their scent. We'll go over that in gadgets down here at the bottom. But you can't really cover your scent too much when you're on stand. However, on your way to your stand, we use a limit shield. We spray down our legs, our boots. You make sure the trails are mowed. If it's on private land, if it's on public land, get the sticks out of the way so they're not slapping you. Try to find areas where it's lower brush, more hardwoods on public land to get to stands. Change your routes a little bit so you're not leaving a big amount of scent, a spider web of scent all over the woods every time you go in and out of the woods. Those hunter access trails are critical. Not to mention, you might have scouted and know you want to get to this saddle on some ridge down on some giant tract of public land down in Ohio. And you think, well, I'll just go this way. I did that in Pennsylvania in '93, the first time I ever hunted out there. I went up a trail in a road because I'd driven by there. And on the map, I thought that was that road, and it really wasn't. I ended up 2 miles away from where I needed to go once I got to the top, and it was a 700-foot change in elevation. So this is 45 minutes after it took me to get to the top. And then I was still 45 minutes, an hour away from where I wanted to be. You can guess that I was there a half hour after daylight. Took a long time to get back over, but the point is that your hunter access routes, the amount of scent you leave, the amount of noise you make. Noise is second to me behind scent. You can always go slower, take your time. You really can't afford to leave a spider web of scent all around the woods, especially on private land. Because you're dealing with a small parcel. You can't just spook the deer off it, wait till the afternoon and go back and hunt and have a great hunt. They're gone. Public land, you can go somewhere else. Lack of mock scrapes. Mock scrapes are an incredible tool that we try to have at every single stand location. Even a gun stand where we're out hunting out of a box blind, one of our rednecks off to the side. The shot might be anywhere from 75 yards to 200 yards across to food source or over an open field. We still have a mock scrape off to the corner because we want to put a camera on it and see what's going on in that large food source or large field, whatever it might be. So we really want that intel. We like having that there if we have the camera to put over there. A mock scrapes, when you look at a stand location, you find the camera, the mock scrape, and the stand location. People have a lot of questions about mock scrapes. They'll say, what are you using to hang down in a vertical mock scrape? What kind of scent do you use? I use no scent. But what I would encourage you to do is I have over 60 mock scrape videos in my mock scrape playlist on this channel. So just look up the playlist, go to the channel, look up playlist, and you'll find those mock scrapes. There's a lot of them on water holes. I talk about the same strategies in every one of them, different ways, different hunting strategies, how to use them. But there's more than you ever want to know about mock scrapes on there to help you out. So that'll answer a lot of questions there, but they've been critically important to me since the mid-2000s. And that was putting a camera on a scrape. It was pretty cool to have bucks hitting him in July in the UP of Michigan, not using scent and creating a mock scrape. And a lot of times I was putting a mock scrape then because I wanted to have that scrape and then look at the field behind it. So every time something would go to that scrape, I'd get a picture of what's going on behind it. And I still use those same strategies today, but every single stand location is critical. Well, it's end of July, and I hope most of you by this point in the year have been able to check out our food plot seed company, WHS Wildlife Blends. We've had clients and customers in almost 50 states by now. And the cool thing is, I don't like you to pay shipping if you don't have to. We're not going to have a giant dealer network. That's not the way we are. We built the business on experience and providing good information and quality products. People order it online. But if you live in the southeast Minnesota, southwest Wisconsin area, Nelson Agri Center out of Viroqua and Prairie du Chien is our only dealer in the country. I don't know if that's the way it'll be in the future, but they're very important to us because people in this region can actually travel to them, whether you're in northeast Iowa or northwest Illinois, and pick up that seed without shipping. So give them a call, check them out, and check out the Food Plot Company. Check out the website if you haven't done so already. And I really appreciate you guys giving us a look for your food plot planting needs this season. Following what TV hunters do. We all have our favorite TV hunter personalities you like to watch. You know, back in the day, I watched the Drury brothers a lot. Mark Drury, the mad scientist. You know, I like watching Mark make decisions on hunting. It seems like a lot of the hunting shows nowadays are hunting out of box blinds. They're sitting on a food plot. They're food plot hunters. And we get lulled into that impression that we can go out and do the same in a non-fantasy land state. If your state has more than 100,000 bow hunters, it's not a fantasy land state. Let's put it that way. Just look at the number of bow hunters in your state. But when you have a lot of hunting pressure, look at Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, even portions of Illinois, all the way over the northeast coast, down to the south a little bit. When you're in those traditional hunting states, you have a lot of hunting pressure and deer become very, very wary. We can't stick a redneck blind out in the middle of a food plot. Even redneck, they like when I share videos on how to hide a blind. They know that. It's important to hide them, whether it's big logs, big trunks that are around, shrubs, grass, whatever it might be. You're just trying to hide that shape a little bit so it's not silhouetted. It doesn't take a lot to actually hide them in. It's not that you don't have to see it from 10 feet away. It's just that from 100 yards away or 50 yards away, it blends into the environment. It's not sticking out like this giant box silhouetted against the sky. So really important that you don't follow a lot of times with the hunting advice on TV, because all those TV shows, most of them wouldn't have a TV show. This is a sad truth, unless they were in Kansas, Iowa, Missouri, Kentucky, some of those big buck states where you can count on shooting big bucks every year with not a lot of hunting pressure, and you can do things a lot differently than you have to in other states in order to shoot those big bucks in those other states. You can't follow that same advice. So right away, if you're looking at hunting TV, it's great for showing you what products are out there. I love watching because I like the sights and sounds. There's nothing better than a mature buck just through the leaves coming your way. And with the kids when they were young, I'd say, okay, shoot or not. And they'd pause the TV for a second. And it was really cool, just the sights and sounds that get you back into that. I could watch hunting videos right now. I enjoy it. I like Whitetail Edge TV, Ben Rising. He has some really cool, authentic videos. He's an incredible hunter, one of the best in the country. Like watching his stuff. Pretty cool. But bottom line is, a lot of what TV hunters do, especially when the box blinds or hunting out in open food sources, big food sources, you don't realize they're only hunting that food source once or twice a year, and they have dozens of setups like that. We can't afford to do that in most setups. Not to mention the overuse of products and gadgets and trying to push those in order to pay for the TV shows. You don't realize how much it costs to have a TV show. Dylan, you have some insight on that. Sportsman's Channel. Yep. How much does it cost for a low quarter? And this is going back a ways, I know.
That was probably like 2018. It was like 55 grand for a not great time slot for quarters 1 and 2. So.
And people don't realize they weren't paying you 55 grand.
Oh gosh, no.
You were paying them.
Yeah.
And then you got to pay that off by having enough sponsors. So you can kind of see how this works, but that's when you're on cable, it's because you're making enough money to pay for your show. And that takes tens of thousands of dollars and more, because it can be over 100,000. And Outdoor Channel, top quarter, I mean.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm sure the numbers have changed quite a bit, but it was about $120,000 for an Outdoor Channel Q3, Q4 slot.
Yeah. So there you go. Too much stock in opening day. You know, there's people that gear up and they're so excited for opening day that when they don't shoot something, it's just big giant letdown. You're setting yourself up. And I think that's important to keep a perspective that the season is a marathon, not a sprint. I'd rather have, hey, go up on opening day. If you don't shoot something, great. You know, try again in a couple weeks. Try again in a couple weeks. Have consistent hunting and enjoy the hunt and learn about the deer and your habitat for the entire season, instead of really going for, well, this week of opening day and this week of rut, and that's my hunting for the year. Not going to be as good of a hunter as you are if you consistently take little shots at hunting and enjoying the hunt the entire season. And of course, I like looking at the weather. My opening day a lot of times is when the weather's the best. So today it's supposed to be a high of, what'd you say, Dylan, 93?
93.
Yeah. If this was mid-September, a month from now, I'm not going hunting. I'm going when it drops down to 82 6 days from now, and there's that cold front that takes place. So that'll be my opening day, really watching the weather. Over preparing, there's so much you can do to prepare for the season, but how much of it actually helps you hunt? Stand location's the best form of scent control. That takes place in the summertime. You're going to hunt deer here with this wind blowing this direction, and therefore you shouldn't shoot a lot of deer. You're not sitting in the middle of where the deer should. You should always be sitting on the edge of where the deer should be. Have clean boots, clean clothes. Again, we use Limit-Shield, walking in and out. Watch the scent. Have stands that are more bedding area related for morning, more food source related for the afternoon, evening. Monitor the herd from a distance or from the edge. Look for rubs, scrapes. Even if you don't have cameras, you can figure out when things are heating up and where. Scout from the edge, not in. Practice with your bow. Make sure you have good shots, that you're full of confidence when you go into the woods. Be a predator. So you're acting like a predator. You're setting up your hunt that way. You're hunting smart. You know your equipment. You know your gear. You've been shooting. You shoot well. That's really what it boils down to. All the gadgets and gear that you buy might look cool on paper, but if you're putting too much stock in some spray or dust or whatever to hide your scent and to make up for the lack of hunting experience or knowledge or strategy, then you're doomed before you even start. So think about that. Some of those basics of just watching the wind, hunting the edge of cover, hunting the edge of movement, not in the movement. Always being mindful of where you're blowing your scent, and certainly making sure you have great access in and out so you're not leaving a giant scent trail. Lack of practice is a bad one. It gets to this time of year, we really need to be hitting it hard, hitting the range hard, all August, in through September, and don't stop in September. Keep it going in October, November. Enjoy shooting your bow. Get to where it's not a chore anymore. It's becoming a habit and something you enjoy doing every single day. And again, too many gadgets. If you're looking to some dust or spray or gadget to hide your scent while you're on stand and you're blowing your scent right at a mature animal, that's a very, very bad thing. You can control your scent, I believe, when you're walking in and out of your stand. How much scent you leave on the ground, how much noise you make. Are you moving into your property and out of your property like a predator? Do the deer know you're actually hunting them? That's where, when you answer those questions and you really answer them as if you're a predator, moving around the property, sneaking up on the deer, they don't even know you're coming. That's when you're becoming a good hunter. When you have those great access routes in and out, when you've planned those mock scrapes in front of your stand locations. I'm not selling anything on mock scrapes. If I could, if you look up mock scrapes for deer, I probably have 8 or 10 out of the top 15 videos when it comes to mock scrapes. Best mock scrape for deer. Look that up. Probably have a few towards the top. Bottom line is, I'm selling you, I don't sell paracord. Dylan and I figured out it was about 60 cents a mock scrape, and that's about it. And you get natural vines or branches. They just work. I like them at every stand location. So think about that. Try to limit your gadgets. Learn how to hunt. Really look at a hunting strategy. Don't put too much stock in opening day. Enjoy the entire season. It is a marathon, not a sprint. Look for enjoying it every week, watching the changes in the scenery and the habitat. That's what hunting's all about. Hope that makes sense to you. Those are some August deer fails. It's getting really serious right now. And I hope that you go into September full of confidence because you've been shooting your bow. You're playing your hunting strategy well. And you'll have a great hunt this September and beyond. Hey folks, I really appreciate you watching. And I want to invite you to check out our main website, whitetailhabitatsolutions.com. I'm going to miss all these, but we have seed to offer, hats, articles, web classes, books, consultations, and even a new podcast. I think we have 17 podcasts out there right now for you to listen to. So we have a lot to offer. Most of all, if you don't want to buy anything, I'm going to keep offering free videos, free articles. We have over 600 articles on the site. And most of all, thank you very much for watching, reading, listening, being a part of Whitetail Habitat Solutions. If you want to check this stuff out, awesome. Links are in the description.